In the gleaming boardroom of Apex Autotech, perched high above the bustling streets of Silicon Valley, tension crackled like electricity from a faulty wire. Victoria Harrington, the iron-fisted CEO with her perfectly coiffed blonde hair and a suit sharper than a scalpel, paced furiously. Her voice, laced with disdain, sliced through the air as she glared at the sputtering engine prototype on the conference table. A multi-million-dollar marvel that had stubbornly refused to cooperate for weeks. "This is unacceptable," she barked at her team of Ivy League engineers, their faces pale under the fluorescent lights. But then, her eyes landed on Marcus Thompson, the black mechanic who just entered to empty the trash bins, his overalls stained with the honest grime of hard work. He froze, sensing the storm brewing. Victoria's lips curled into a mocking smile, her diamond earrings glinting like warning signals. "You there, grease monkey?" she sneered, gesturing dramatically at the engine that had baffled experts from MIT and Stanford. "Think you can fix this? A simple mechanic like you, smelling of oil and failure?" The room fell deathly silent. 20 executives shifting uncomfortably in their leather chairs, their eyes darting between the CEO and the intruder. Marcus clutched his toolbox tighter, his calloused hands betraying years of tinkering in Detroit garages. But here he was, just the help, invisible until now. The engine sparked defiantly, as if echoing her challenge, and the stakes were sky-high. $50 million in contracts dangled precariously on this machine's revival. With a theatrical flourish, Victoria stepped closer, her high heels echoing like judgments on the marble floor. She leaned in, her expensive perfume clashing with the scent of motor oil wafting from Marcus. "Here's a deal you'll never win," she declared, snapping her fingers inches from his face. "Fix this $2 million engine that our geniuses couldn't touch, and I'll marry you right here, in this very room." Gasps rippled through the audience, a mix of horror and morbid curiosity. "But when you fail, and oh you will, security will drag you out, and you'll never work in this industry again." The bet hung in the air like smoke from the overheating prototype, absurd yet binding in this cutthroat world of tech titans. Marcus met her gaze steadily, his dark eyes holding secrets of engines whispered to him in midnight repairs. The executives murmured some suppressing smirks, others averting their eyes in embarrassment. This wasn't just a repair job. It was a spectacle of power, where a female CEO wielded her authority like a weapon against a man society had already pushed to the margins. But beneath Marcus's calm exterior burned the fire of untold expertise, forged in adversity and ready to ignite. The engine hummed faintly, as if pleading for someone to listen, while Victoria crossed her arms, confident in her victory. Little did she know, this mockery would unravel her empire and rewrite destinies. The clock ticked, the challenge set. What would happen when the underestimated rose to prove the impossible? Apex Autotech's boardroom pulsed with desperation, the air thick with the scent of burnt coffee and failed ambition. Victoria Harrington had clawed her way to the top of this Silicon Valley giant, transforming a modest startup into a powerhouse of autonomous vehicle innovation. At 39, she was a force of nature, blonde ambition personified, with a reputation for devouring competitors and spitting out profits. Her suits were armor, her decisions daggers, and her boardroom a battlefield where only the ruthless survived. Tech insiders hailed her as a visionary, but whispers in the corridors painted her as a tyrant, her leadership style a blend of intimidation and unyielding demands. The company's 50-story glass tower symbolized her empire, housing labs where dreams of self-driving fleets became reality, powered by billions in venture capital. The crown jewel of Apex Autotech was the revolutionary AI-integrated engine, a beast, designed to propel delivery trucks with 95% efficiency, slashing costs and dominating the logistics market. 3 years of R&D, 52 patents, and teams of elite minds had birthed this machine, promising to revolutionize urban transport overnight. But for 7 agonizing weeks, it lay broken on the executive table, a $2 million corpse defying resurrection. It would ignite, run smoothly for precisely 15 minutes and 42 seconds, then seize with the ominous resonance failure detected error. Diagnostics piled up, 72 tests, endless code reviews, yet nothing yielded. Victoria's empire teetered. $60 million in pending contracts hung in the balance, investors circling like vultures. Victoria's rise hadn't been easy. Orphaned young, she'd bootstrapped through Harvard Business School on scholarships and sheer grit, outmaneuvering privileged peers with calculated charm and cutthroat strategy. By 30, she'd launched Apex, poaching talent from Tesla and Google, building a culture of excellence laced with fear. Employees clocked 80-hour weeks, fueled by her mantra, innovation or irrelevance. But cracks showed, high turnover, hushed lawsuits over toxic environments. Her blonde bun never loosened, her gaze pierced souls, earning her the nickname Ice Queen in anonymous reviews. The engine crisis amplified her worst traits. Morning rants echoed through halls, interns scattering like leaves in wind. As pressure mounted, Victoria unleashed fury on her engineering elite. $60 million evaporates if this doesn't by week's end, she roared in a crisis meeting, slamming fists on oak tables. The team, grads from Harvard, MIT, Caltech, sat shell-shocked, their $150,000 salaries mocking their impotence. Lead engineer Lisa Chen, Stanford 18, bore dark circles from sleepless nights patching AI protocols, replacing circuits, consulting global experts. They'd even hired a feng shui master after wild theories of office energy disruption. Coffee stains layered tables like defeats archaeology, emails flew with blame-shifting barbs. Victoria's contempt extended beyond her team. She orchestrated subtle humiliations, scheduling low-level staff during high-stakes demos to underscore hierarchy. Internal chats buzzed with her barbs. Dead weight drags us down. One thread, started by her, mocked diversity hires as checkboxes, not contributors. HR turned blind eyes, fearing her wrath. The German investor's arrival intensified the nightmare. Bavarian Auto Group's delegation, led by Stern Heinrich Vogel, promised $120 million but demanded perfection. Their black limos arrived like omens, Vogel's inspections merciless. Dr. Sofia Ramirez, ex-Ford innovator with 41 patents, joined as advisor, her scrutiny legendary. By Thursday, chaos peaked. A final test erupted in smoke, sprinklers drenching suits and egos. The smell of scorched wires mingled with despair. Vogel's stoic face hiding disappointment. Victoria called an all-hands in the auditorium. 250 staff packed in. Panic palpable. "We're slashing non-essentials," she announced, eyes scanning for sacrifices. Her gaze locked on Marcus, the mechanic turned janitor, invisible until fate intervened. Marcus Thompson knew engines like old friends, their hums and groans a language learned in Detroit's gritty garages. Born in 1993 amid Motor City's decline, he grew up in a modest bungalow where his grandfather, Elijah Thompson, reigned over a backyard shop. Elijah, a trailblazing black foreman at General Motors in the 70s, broke barriers with wrench and will, fixing what others deemed lost. "Machines don't see color, boy," he'd say, his voice gravelly from decades of shop talk. "They just need someone who listens." At 10, Marcus pressed palms to vibrating blocks, feeling rhythms of pistons dancing in sync, 7,500 explosions per minute, harmony and chaos. Summers were apprenticeships. While peers chased balls, Marcus rebuilt carburetors, diagnosing by sound. Faint ping signaling worn valves, acrid smoke betraying gasket fails. Elijah's wisdom transcended tools. "They'll doubt you twice as hard, son. Prove 'em wrong with results." By 16, Marcus overhauled engines blindfolded, his intuition baffling local mechanics. Community college beckoned. Professors marveled at his grasp of thermodynamics, far beyond textbooks. Dr. Patel, a former GM engineer, pulled him aside. "You've got genius in those hands. Don't waste it." But life derailed dreams. Elijah's stroke hit during Marcus's freshman year, medical bills swallowing savings. Then, his mother's diabetes worsened, dialysis sessions costing $4,000 monthly, insurance covering half. The math was brutal. Full-time work or family ruin. Marcus juggled jobs, night shifts at auto shops, weekends pumping gas, mornings cleaning offices, while acing his associates in mechanical engineering. Transfer apps to Michigan State gathered dust in a drawer labeled "Someday." Graduation brought no fanfare. He landed gigs in industrial maintenance, skills shining but opportunities dimmed by circumstance. 3 years ago, a temp agency placed him at Apex as technical support, code for janitor. His $45,000 salary covered Mom's treatments, but humiliation stung. Mopping, while Suits debated designs he'd instinctively improve. Nights, he pored over blueprints left strewn, spotting flaws in AI mechanical sinks. Online courses in advanced diagnostics filled insomnia hours. His tiny apartment brimmed with journals, salvaged parts, Elijah's old tools. Engines have souls, Grandpa's echo sustained him through snide glances, whispered cleaning guy jabs. Daily at Apex was invisibility's grind. Victoria's barbs landed like precision strikes, pointing him out to investors as our inclusive hire, tone-dripping charity. Emails leaked, her speculating on his limited skills, HR adding emojis. Colleagues avoided him, fearing association with low tier. Yet Marcus observed, the engine's error screamed mismatch, metric precision clashing with imperial code. Late cleanings, he'd hover, hearing strained vibrations, like a symphony off-key. His mother's calls grounded him. You're more than they see, baby. Remission brought hope, but bills lingered. Marcus carried Elijah's philosophy like armor. Competence conquers prejudice. In the auditorium, hand raised, he voiced the harmonic flaw, 250 heads turning. This wasn't impulse. It was destiny's call. Hidden expertise ready to shatter assumptions. The engine's defiance deepened Apex's wounds. Each failed, fix a nail in the coffin of Victoria's unblemished record. Week 1 saw optimistic tweaks, software, patches, circuit swaps, but the 1542 shutdown persisted, mocking their efforts. By week 3, desperation bred absurdity, electromagnetic shielding against Wi-Fi ghosts, even a psychic consultant claiming negative vibes. Costs ballooned, $1.2 million in overtime, consultants flying from Detroit and Tokyo. Victoria's rages intensified, her heels scarring floors in furious paces. Engineering huddles devolved into blame games. Lisa Chen's team dissected code lines. Harvard whiz kid Alex Rivera modeled simulations. All futile. It's harmonic, not digital, Alex muttered once, dismissed amid exhaustion. Coffee consumption tripled. Sleep deficits mounted. One intern collapsed from fatigue. Victoria's emails scorched. Fix or find new jobs. Investor calls grew terse, Vogel hinting at withdrawal. Internal rot festered. Victoria targeted weak links, her gaze often on Marcus during cleanings. Some don't belong, she'd say, sparking uneasy nods. HR documented but ignored complaints. Diversity reports glossed realities. The German visit loomed like Judgment Day, $120 million dangling. Thursday's demo imploded spectacularly. Smoke billowing, alarms blaring, drenched executives fleeing. Vogel watched impassively, Ramirez noting flaws. Victoria's emergency all-hands crackled with fear. Her termination threats hung heavy. Marcus, in the back, absorbed it all. The error code screamed to him, resonance mismatch from unit conversions. As Victoria hunted scapegoats, he raised his hand. It's the harmonics, he said clearly. Shock rippled. Vogel leaned in. Ramirez's interest peaked. Victoria saw opportunity for spectacle. The auditorium hung in suspended animation, every eye on Marcus as his words echoed through the speakers. Victoria's initial fury morphed into predatory glee, a chance to crush insubordination publicly. Our mechanic fancies himself an expert, she mocked, voice amplified for maximum humiliation. Laughter tittered nervously. Executives fidgeted, sensing blood sport. Ramirez stood, her presence commanding. I'll oversee for fairness. Vogel nodded, intrigued by American ingenuity. Victoria upped the ante. Fix it in 2 hours, before our investors, or you're blacklisted. Then, the twist. Succeed. And I'll marry you here. Absurd as that is. Gasps erupted. The bet, laced with mockery, sealed the drama. Livestream setup buzzed, cameras rolling, hashtags trending. When Apex challenge. Marcus met her eyes. Challenge accepted. The procession to the boardroom felt like a Colosseum march. 250 spectators crowding glass walls. Vogel's team claimed prime seats, Ramirez at diagnostics. The engine loomed, chrome gleaming under lights, surrounded by failed tools. Victoria's phone streamed to thousands. comments predicting flop. Marcus approached calmly, palms on the block, eyes closed, listening. Whispers mocked the janitor's prayer. But Ramirez watched keenly. "It's at war with itself," he declared, explaining metric German precision versus imperial AI assumptions. Vogel's brows rose. This was no amateur. The clock started. Tension electric. Marcus's poise contrasted Victoria's smirk, the spectacle now a high-wire act of redemption. With the boardroom transformed into a theater of scrutiny, Marcus began his symphony of diagnosis, his movements deliberate and assured, drawing from decades of inherited wisdom. He powered on the engine first, the rumble filling the space, but he cocked his head like a maestro detecting a flat note. "Hear that irregularity at 2900 RPM?" he asked, voice steady over the mechanical din. The crowd strained, but to most it was just noise. To Marcus, it was a confession. The pistons are in perfect German machined sync, but the AI expects looser American tolerances, 0.02 inches off, creating resonance buildup. He pointed to the oscilloscope, waves spiking erratically. Ramirez leaned in, her notebook flying with notes. "Explain the cascade." Marcus traced the blueprint sprawl across the table, fingers dancing over specs like old maps. Crankshaft, 88.47 mm Munich precision. AI calibrated for 3.482 inches, converts to 88.468 mm. Tiny, but at high RPM, it amplifies into vibration hell. Murmurs grew. Lisa Chen pushed forward, skepticism cracking. "We simulated that. Why didn't it show?" "Because you tested expected tolerances," Marcus replied gently. "The AI overcompensates for non-existent slop, forcing unnatural rhythms. By 1542, resonance peaks, critical failure." Vogel whispered to aides, verifying metrics. His nod confirmed accuracy. Live comments shifted, engineers debating, admiration creeping in. Marcus measured components with calipers, data aligning perfectly. Second layer, harmonic frequencies. Natural engine vibe at 3,500 RPM, but AI pushes 3,480, off by enough to heat up seals. He demonstrated with a simple app on a borrowed laptop, graphing mismatches. Ramirez tested herself. Mathematically sound, elegant oversight. The solution emerged simply. From spares, Marcus selected a resonance balancer, a $40 disc with tuned slots. "Not rewrite code or remanufacture," he explained. "Bridge the gap, dampen excess vibes, let them harmonize." Installation was artistry. 14 minutes of precise torquing, no mods needed. Victoria scoffed. "A cheap fix for millions lost?" But Ramirez's eyes gleamed. "Simplicity is genius." As he stepped back, the room held breath. "Test it," Marcus said. The key turned. Harmony reigned. The engine ignited with a confident growl, no longer strained but symphonic, cylinders firing in flawless unity. The boardroom's silence shattered into awe as diagnostics lit green across boards. Temperatures steady at 185 degrees, pressures optimal, no error flashes. "Efficiency at 98.2%, Ramirez announced, voice tinged with wonder. "Beyond specs, 4 points over projections." Vogel stood, applauding slowly. His team buzzed, tablets capturing metrics for Munich. Victoria's smirk vanished, replaced by pallor as the 1542 mark passed seamlessly. "Real-world test," she demanded weakly. Through windows, the prototype truck awoke, systems syncing effortlessly. It maneuvered the lot, obstacles dodged, precise parks executed, drawing cheers. For 40 minutes, perfection held. The truck returned, powering down contentedly. Ramirez shook Marcus's hand. "Brilliant intuition, poetry and mechanics." Vogel concurred. "Impressive. We'd fund more with you leading." Live viewers hit 60,000, comments hailing the underdog. Lisa's team approached humbly. "Teach us?" Marcus nodded graciously. Victoria stood isolated, her empire's savior the man she'd mocked. The reckoning swept Apex like a corporate tsunami. Ramirez's report blasted Victoria's biases, recommending review. Vogel tied extra $24 million to Marcus's involvement. Board demoted Victoria to advisor, slashing pay 35%, mandating bias training. Irony thick as Ramirez led sessions. Investigations unearthed emails, leading to HR shakeups. Walsh resigned amid lawsuits. Marcus rose, senior diagnostics engineer, 160% raise, stock innovation lead. Policies changed. Open suggestions, merit focus. Stocks surged 18%. Apps flooded. Months later, Victoria apologized in the cafeteria. I was wrong. Guide me? Marcus, listen, like to an engine. Redemption bloomed. Justice balanced scales. 6 months on, Marcus oversaw Munich expansions, his designs powering European fleets. Patents mounted, awards gleamed beside his diploma. Elijah's wisdom bridged worlds. This tale reminds, talent hides in plain sight. Overlook at peril. Smash subscribe, share overlooked stories below. Spot Victoria's earring slip at 418, her tell of doubt. Rewatch!